You had no problem dispatching Matthew Colangelo. Who's Matthew Colangelo?
That is false. I did not dispatch Matthew Colangelo.
Matthew
That's
Colangelo,
false.
Matthew
False.
Colangelo became the Assistant Attorney General at the very beginning of the Biden administration. Without having been Senate confirmed, goes and gets this senior role at the DOJ, and then after, I believe it's Gupta replaces Colangelo, Colangelo makes this remarkable downstream career journey from the U.S. Department of Justice in Washington, D.C., and then pops up in Alvin Bragg's office to go get Trump. And you're saying that's just a career choice that was made that has nothing to do with the lawfare coordinated by the...
I'm saying it's false. I did not dispatch Mr. Colangelo anywhere.
See, you know what?
I can tell you I had nothing to do with it.
Well, you might not have had anything to do with it, but we've got this contemporaneous evidence in Mr. Pomerantz's book. So Pomerantz writes this book, which I'm sure you're aware of, where he says, we put together the legal eagles to get Trump. We got all these folks together and we assembled them for that purpose. And so when we on the Judiciary Committee think about attacks on the judicial process, our concern is that the facts and the law aren't being followed. A target is acquired, here, Trump, and then you assemble the legal talent from DOJ, Mr. Pomerantz, and you bring everybody in to get him.
When we watch these types of exchanges between the conservative congressman and the ilk, which is the swamp in Washington, D.C., it brings up mixed emotions. On the one hand, you're like, yeah, get him. And on the other hand, you're like, but it isn't going to go anywhere. It isn't going to mean anything. I mean, I watched those exchanges that were taking place with the one Anthony Fauci a few days ago. And again, they've got this guy in the crosshairs. They got him dead to rights on what happened in Wuhan, his involvement with it, his cover-up of it. Is anything going to actually happen to Dr. Fauci? No. And so that part of it gets kind of frustrating, and you get kind of like, well, what's the point of all this then? Seriously, what you have these meetings, you have this investigation, you have this grill them on the hot seat. They don't ever get held in contempt. They don't ever, get in any kind of trouble. There's no real accountability here. So what's the point other than, quote unquote, you're getting it on the record? But in this particular case, there's something very interesting here. And I think it is another clear signal that they understand how badly everything is going for Joe Biden, and everything that they have thrown at Donald Trump is not working. And now I think they are literally setting the stage for the overturning of what happened in New York. Stick around.
Let's get ready to rumble! You can't handle the truth.
Hi, I'm Pastor Marty. This is the Afternoon Drive. Thank you so much for watching. Please make sure that you are subscribed to the channel. Once you are, smack the bell, click the word all to get notification of my rants, my ravings, my undeniably flawless reasonings. Please like and share this video. That's how we get the word out that we're here. Welcome to the Afternoon Drive. So many of us on the conservative side of the aisle have been arguing literally for the last 2 years that all of this legal indictment of Donald Trump and going after him, and you've got everything from the whack job woman who claims that he raped her in a dressing room in Neiman Marcus 30 plus years ago, well beyond any statute of limitations. So what does New York State do? They create a brand new law in this one and only case to lift the statute of limitations so they can go after Donald Trump. And she couldn't remember what day it happened, what year, but just that, yeah, it happened. Couldn't even prove that, Donald Trump had been in Neiman Marcus, but it didn't matter. We rewrite the rules because we're suffering from Trump derangement syndrome. As we've watched these hit jobs, and that's really what they are, we have been very loudly proclaiming what this is. And of course, now Merrick Garland and the DOJ are pushing back, saying these are all conspiracy theories, that the Department of Justice has in no way worked with Alvin Bragg or Letitia James or Fannie Willis. No, 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 nay, 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 nay. We're above all that. We're the law. And the law has no bias, has no prejudice. That's a great theory. Does it actually work that way? Because, we had to listen to Camilla thinks she's a Hottie Harris on Jimmy Kimmel or one of those shows, with their little cackle laugh saying, Donald Trump was found guilty in a court of law by his peers. He's found guilty. First of all, can we really say that that Manhattan jury was a law of his peers? Because if that's going to be your argument, okay, then all of those verdicts that come out of the Deep South during the Jim Crow segregation era, where, 3 black youths and involved in a rape, and the police just go up and, basically arrest the first 3 black youths they come across because any 3 will do. And the juries, sentencing these men sometimes to, hard labor, sometimes death penalty, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And we were told that, the system was rigged against them. Are those juries to be believed? Are those verdicts, do they get to stand the test of time? So you can't have this double standard there, Kamala. We know that juries can reflect a political bias. We don't want that to happen, but it can happen. And here you have a compromised judge, a judge who himself is a big donor to the Democratic Party. His daughter has been making money off of this trial. He is severely compromised. We know what went on with Fannie Willis, and her boy toy, Nathan's hot dog, actually flew to the White House, had a meeting at the White House, and then flew back to Atlanta. Why would an attorney working on charging a former president with election interference in the state of Georgia, why would that prosecuting attorney fly to the current White House, meet with them, and then fly back if there wasn't some type of collusion going on, that the White House wasn't in somehow trying to influence what they wanted the prosecution to do in this matter? But of course, Merrick Garland wants to make this argument that no, we are above the fray, and any of you that do this, you are spreading a dangerous conspiracy theory. So Matt Gaetz does what I absolutely appreciate. He follows the KISS formula. Keep it simple, Simon. He asks a simple, direct question.
You've told us that it's a dangerous conspiracy theory to allege that the Department of Justice is communicating with these state and local prosecutions against Trump. You can clear it all up for us right now. Will the Department of Justice provide to the committee all documents, all correspondence between the department and Alvin Bragg's office and Fannie Willis's office and Letitia James's office?
Reasonable. It's a reasonable question. Okay, you're asserting that for us to insinuate lawfare, that the Department of Justice is putting its hand on the scale and is working with all of these local attorney generals, all of these local district attorneys, and is trying to influence a jury and an outcome to alleviate a political opponent. If you say that our asserting that is conspiracy, fine. Just show us your emails. Just show us your correspondence, because we know that you have been corresponding with all of these offices. Just show us what it is you've been talking about. And if you haven't been influencing them, if you haven't been helping them, if you haven't been working with them, the emails will be self-evident of that, and you'll be able to say that, yeah, we were spreading disinformation. So just show us the emails. That is a reasonable request. How does Merrick Garland answer?
The offices you're referring to are independent offices of state.
I get that.
State.
The question is whether or not you will provide all of your documents and correspondence. That's the question. I don't need a history lesson.
Well, I'm going to say again, we do not control those offices. They make their own
The question is whether
decisions.
you communicate with them, not whether you control them. Do you communicate with them, and will you provide those
You
communications?
make a request, we'll refer it to our Office of Legislative Affairs.
But see, here's the thing.
They
You
will
come in
respond
here and you lodge
appropriately.
this attack that it's a conspiracy theory, that there is coordinated lawfare against Trump. And then when we say, fine, just give us the documents, give us the correspondence, and then if it's a conspiracy theory, that will be evident. But when you say, well, we'll take your request, and then we'll sort of work it through the DOJ's accommodation process, then you're actually advancing the very dangerous conspiracy theory that you're concerned about.
Boom! Instead of answering a simple, direct question with a simple, direct, yes, we'll let you see those emails. No, he takes them in that typical political speak, convoluted, well, listen, these offices act independently of us. And Matt Gaetz like, yeah, I get that. Duh. I'm not asking you, the job description. I'm not asking you for a definition of how this is all supposed to work. What I'm asking is, let me see your communication. Let me see what you said to them. Let me see what they ask you. Let me see if you have been offering them help when you're not supposed to. Let me see what you guys are talking about. And the fact that, Merrick Garland just wants to speak in circles, he proved Matt Gaetz' point. He proved our point that, yes, the Biden White House is in this up to their eyeballs trying to get Trump because, let's be honest, Joe Biden can't beat him in a straight-up election. Look what's happening this weekend. Donald Trump goes to San Francisco. Thousands of people line the streets, waving Trump banners, cheering him, waiting for his motorcade. Now, that's supposed to be a deep blue state, especially a deep blue area, San Francisco. Would Joe Biden's motorcade be greeted like that? I think we all know the answer to that. Kamala thinks she's a Hottie Harris when she became vice president. Her motorcade went to her former residence in California, apparently to get a few belongings, and there were like 6 people, literally. Might have even only been like 4 people, standing by her house with, yay, Kamala, our new VP. Trump goes to play golf, and thousands of people line the roads outside Mar-a-Lago to hopefully catch a glimpse of Donald Trump. He is a juggernaut. This is so big, the swamp is terrified. And they know Joe can't beat him. And now there's all these reports that he might have defecated on himself at Normandy. Really? Really, Joe? Really? I mean, his wife and the people around him, first of all, this is elder abuse. The walls are closing in on Hunter. And now you've got even the media and liberal outlets like Politico reporting about the $18+ million that have been funneled into the Biden personal finances from foreign entities like Ukraine and China and other places since he was vice president. Why are they all of a sudden telling us the truth? Is it because by conviction they want to do journalism? No, they're getting ready to throw this guy overboard because they can't stop Trump, and everything that they have tried, including all of this legal lawfare, the American people see right through it. And Matt Gaetz, in his summation, he absolutely nailed Merrick Garland and what the Department of Justice is up to.
Now, you were a judge, once nominated to the highest court in our country. When you were a judge, I'm just curious, did you ever make political donations to partisan candidates?
No.
No, and you didn't, because that would create the potential appearance of impropriety.
I didn't, because there's a federal rule
Oh.
barring federal judges from making contributions.
Right, but under that same theory of attacks on the judicial process, like, shouldn't someone be owed like a jury of their peers and a judge that's non-biased rather than getting a judge from your political opponent's donor file?
I'm well aware that you're not asking a hypothetical. You're asking me to comment on a jury verdict in another jurisdiction which has to be respected. I won't comment on it. That case is still ongoing. The defendant
Mr.
has
Attorney General,
indicated-
I hadn't asked you about the verdict yet. We were getting there. I was talking about the judge. And so let me ask you this question about your time as a judge. Was there ever a time when you were a judge when you had a family member who was personally profiting off of the notoriety of a case that was before your court?
I'm going to say again, it's very clear you're asking me to comment on a case in another jurisdiction.
No, wait, hold on, Mr. Attorney General. Did you ever have a family member profit off of the notoriety of any case that you sat over?
Say again, you're asking
Yes or no?
You're asking me to comment on a case currently.
Well, it seems you're
before
connecting the
another
dots,
court.
Mr. Attorney General. I'm just asking you as to a general principle, but you are aware that Judge Merchan's daughter was profiting off of this prosecution. You are aware that that creates the appearance of impropriety. You know the very reason there's a federal rule against judges giving donations is because it is the very attack on the judicial process that we're concerned about.
Stick a fork in him, baby. He's done.